Elon Musk thought he could get away with exposing Donald Trump being on the Epstein list and walk away clean. But one comment aimed at Jasmine Crockett turned into a legal firestorm, and his entire career collapsed overnight. It started with 17 words. No warning, no build-up, no context. Just a post on X. Some of you should stop asking questions you don't want the answers to. Start with the Epstein logs. Trump's name is there. Page 27. Posted at 2:40. 1 a.m. Eastern. Deleted by 2:47. But 6 minutes was enough. Screenshots spread like wildfire. Threads ignited. Accounts speculated. Some laughed. Others froze. The words weren't casual. They were targeted, loaded, and unmistakably Elon. The first repost came from a blue-check account with 400 followers. By 3:12, the post had reached 10 million views. Elon hadn't tagged anyone. He didn't need to. Everyone knew who Trump meant, everyone knew what logs meant, and everyone knew Elon didn't do accidental. It wasn't the kind of thing you walk back. It was the kind of thing that splits timelines. By 4:00 a.m., Epstein logs and Musk knows were trending at number 1 and 2 worldwide. The right scrambled. The left didn't cheer. Not yet. They watched. CNN ran a bottom banner that read, "Breaking. Musk implies Trump tied to Epstein flight logs." Fox cut in with, "Musk meltdown?" It didn't matter what anyone said. The clip was already looped. Podcasters whispered. Reddit compiled the logs. TikTok ran mashups of Trump interviews and Epstein photos. Someone claimed they found page 27. It didn't show Trump's name. Others claimed that was the point. Intentional fog. By sunrise, the narrative was spiraling. Some called it a distraction. Others called it a declaration. Elon said nothing more. Not a clarification. Not a follow-up. He posted a meme about sheep around 6:30 a.m., an image of a wolf in a suit reading a book titled How to Manage the Herd. The comments weren't about the meme. They were about the silence. Was this real? Was this bait? Was Elon finally burning every bridge? At 8:15 a.m., MSNBC's Mika Brzezinski said it out loud. If Elon Musk is bluffing, he's reckless. If he's not, this is the biggest political bombshell in a decade. Either way, the match had been struck. And no one could unsee the flame. The statement came at 9:42 a.m. sharp. No audio, no press conference, just black text on white background. Elon Musk is a drugged-up tech fraud who's lost control of his mouth, his mind, and his mediocre companies. Sad. Signed, President Donald J. Trump. No aides, no filters, just him. His digital team tried to soften it, drafted something more presidential, more coded. Trump rejected it. He wants fire, he reportedly said. Let's light the whole thing up. And so he did. Within minutes, his most loyal voices chimed in. Charlie Kirk went live on Rumble, smirking, "This is what happens when billionaires dabble in Adderall in politics." Steve Bannon called Musk a globalist plant turned feral. Laura Loomer posted, "Did y'all forget Elon isn't even American-born?" The loyalists weren't defending Trump. They were dismantling Musk. One piece at a time. His donations to Democrats in 2015. His flip-flop on immigration. The times he'd criticized the military. And most importantly, his recent turn on the One Big Beautiful Bill. That stung. Musk had once stood beside Trump during a Mar-a-Lago fundraiser, grinning, nodding, even whispering ideas for DOGE, the Department of Government Efficiency. They were partners. Unlikely, but aligned. Until they weren't. Until Elon called the bill a debt bomb disguised as policy. Until he backed out of the next fundraising gala. Until he posted those 17 words. And now? Now the alliance was scorched earth. Trump's PAC released a 90-second attack ad by noon. Footage of Elon laughing with Ghislaine Maxwell. Headlines about his Tesla factories. A voiceover that growled, "Elon Musk, a man of Mars, not Main Street." In MAGA circles, the shift was immediate. Elon is CIA. Elon is scared of the real list. Elon is trying to distract from Neuralink failures. Meanwhile, the White House stayed silent. And Elon? He posted a GIF of a match being struck in slow motion. No caption. No hashtags. But everyone understood. This wasn't a glitch in the system. This was two men with nuclear egos. And only one of them could survive the fallout. By noon, the timeline was missing pieces. Not just any posts, specific ones. Investigative tech reporters started with a hunch, then ran the numbers. Elon's X account had quietly lost 14 posts overnight. Gone. Scrubbed. Not archived in the usual way. No deletion notices. Just vanished. But the internet never forgets. Screenshots emerged. Cross-references. Wayback Machine captures. Most of the posts were from the last 2 years. Vague one-liners. Blurred photos. A few memes that didn't hit or didn't land the way they were meant to. But one caught everyone's attention. Posted in October 2023. Strange how the same names keep showing up. Tech, politics, flights to nowhere. Epstein was the hub. Everything else? Spokes. It had barely trended then. Now it was Exhibit A. Others followed. A selfie with Bill Gates captioned, "Reptilian Energy." A jab at ex-presidents who still fear sealed docs. A thread from 2022 questioning why flight logs were still incomplete. All deleted. And suddenly, the conversation flipped. Was Elon bluffing? Or was he cleaning house? He didn't explain. He didn't deny. And silence, in this kind of storm, becomes its own language. Theories spread. Some said legal pressure. Others whispered national security. One thread even suggested SpaceX had received a gentle tap from the Pentagon. No proof, just vibes. But in this moment, vibes were fuel. An ex-user named it Snark Archivist compiled all 14 deleted posts into a mega-thread titled, "What Elon Doesn't Want You to See." It hit 22 million views by sundown. Even Trump's camp went quiet for a few hours. Because the game had changed. If Musk had proof, if he'd seen a version of the infamous logs the public hadn't, then this wasn't a feud. It was a fire starter. The pressure built. CNN's Aaron Burnett asked it plainly. Did Elon Musk delete those posts because they were reckless? Or because they were real? No answer. Just another meme from Elon. This time it was a child holding a finger to their lips. The background was static. The text read, "Redactions are never for your safety." The internet leaned in. The silence was loud. And something was coming. It dropped at 3:07 a.m. No warning, no credits, no name. Just a zip file in a whistleblower subreddit titled, "Palm Key 2001, 2010, Guest Logs, Partial. Encrypted, password protected." A second post followed with the key. Inside, 312 pages. Heavily redacted. No smoking gun. No full names, but patterns. Dates, locations, hints. And one entry, not redacted, stood out on page 94. DJT, Palm Beach, 7 guests, March 2002. The internet snapped. Some claimed it was fake, others called it gospel. But what changed everything was what happened next. Elon reposted it. No caption. Just a screenshot of the file name and a line typed beneath in his usual font. Not conspiracy. History. That was it. He didn't explain. He didn't verify. He didn't blink. By noon, media outlets were in chaos. Some refused to report. Others sent legal teams into overdrive. The New York Times called it an alleged document dump too politically radioactive to authenticate without harm. But people didn't wait for verification. They dissected. The Reddit thread had ballooned to 90. 0 comments. Anonymous accounts decoded initials. WM became William Mountbatten. KB was rumored to be a former senator from Ohio. The Trump reference didn't say Trump. It said DJT. But that was enough. Trump's team fired off a press release by late afternoon. Fake, forged, fraudulent. We will pursue full legal action against those promoting this slander. But there was no one to sue. The source was a ghost. The file had bounced through a dozen mirrors, hosted on servers across Europe. By the time X tried removing links, it was already living on blockchain archives and private clouds. And then came the moment that froze everything. A former Epstein pilot, still under sealed NDA, posted a single word on Bluesky. Verified. He deleted it 30 minutes later. But the damage? Permanent. News anchors stopped smiling. Podcasters stopped joking. Trump's allies stopped tweeting. This wasn't gossip anymore. This was a document war. And Elon had just drawn first blood. By morning, the hallways of Capitol Hill felt different. Not loud, not chaotic. Just tight. The kind of tension that creeps into conversations, slows hallway footsteps, shortens glances between staffers. Lawmakers clutched coffee cups a little tighter, Phones buzzed without pause. Because now the conversation wasn't about hypotheticals. It was about names. Real ones. And one of those names was DJT. The leaked guest registry had gone global. Overnight, over 50 House members signed a letter demanding a formal inquiry into Epstein's full archive. Not just guest lists, but property records, flight manifests, security logs, sealed testimonies, everything. And it wasn't just Democrats. 3 moderate Republicans co-signed the letter. One privately said, "If this is a setup, I want it exposed. If it's not, we're already too late." Committee staff scrambled to locate existing files. Half were sealed under a 2019 federal order. The rest? Scattered across jurisdictions, cloud servers, private law firm vaults. Speaker Jordan tried to downplay it. "We're not going to chase internet rumors," he said. But his voice cracked on rumors. The panic wasn't on the floor. It was in the offices behind it. Trump's inner circle pushed hard on messaging. Fox News rolled out a chyron. Musk's smear, "What's Biden hiding?" Senators echoed it. "Why isn't anyone asking if Joe Biden was on those flights?" one asked, eyes darting. But the public wasn't buying it. The hashtags hadn't moved. DJT94 was trending. So was PalmKey and Musk knew. By mid-afternoon, 4 House committees scheduled emergency briefings. One subpoenaed archived flight logs. Another requested Musk's testimony not yet public, but whispered behind doors. Nancy Mace told a reporter off the record, "I don't like Elon, but this isn't going away. We either confront it or drown in it." Cameras waited outside the Capitol steps. But nobody smiled. No podium speeches, no sound bites. Just heavy doors closing quietly behind suits that suddenly felt thinner than armor. Because once you say the word Epstein in a room full of power, the silence says more than the denial ever could. The first crack came from Utah. Senator Greer Hammond, a rising libertarian star, posted a 4-word bomb at 9:02 a.m. Declassify the Epstein archive. No tagging, no thread, just that. And the internet detonated. Within hours, the lines were drawn. On one side, Trump loyalists, firebrands, true believers. The ones who called Musk's posts reckless nonsense. The ones who used words like deepfake, globalist trap, and witch hunt too. On the other, libertarians, tech, aligned conservatives, new, right populists. Younger, sharper, less married to the legacy machine. They didn't like Musk. But they liked the truth more, or at least the chaos of it. And they were tired of secrets. Tucker Carlson, once Trump's most reliable media weapon, made his choice known on a primetime live stream. "This isn't about Elon Musk," he said, calm, calculating. "This is about truth. If Trump's clean, then release the logs. If he's not, well, that's a different conversation." The clip racked up 18 million views in 4 hours. Inside the RNC, emails flew. Donor groups were spooked. The Mercer family reportedly paused contributions. 2 super PACs pulled back on joint fundraising with Trump's legal defense fund. The Trump camp tried to slam Musk harder. Laura Loomer called him a tech oligarch with delusions of grandeur. Steve Bannon labeled him deep state adjacent. But even that messaging started to fray. Because when Senator Hammond doubled down calling for a full investigation into any U.S. official named in the Epstein files, regardless of party or status, it didn't read as betrayal. It read as leadership. Young GOP voters started flooding forums, tagging posts with, "Release everything. No exceptions. Musk might be right." And just like that, what started as a digital feud between 2 billionaires had morphed into a civil war, not between left and right, but inside the right itself. One strategist summed it up in a group text that got leaked to Politico. "We're not fighting Democrats anymore. We're fighting the algorithm. And Elon owns the algorithm." Because in this new GOP, truth wasn't just inconvenient, it was radioactive. The screen fades in. Leather chairs, a neon skull, a haze of cigar smoke curling toward the mic. Joe Rogan looks tired, amused, a little skeptical. Elon Musk looks like he hasn't slept in 3 days. But he's calm. Too calm. "Let's just start with this," Rogan says, sliding his hands out. "What the hell is going on with you and Trump?" Elon doesn't blink. "I've seen the files," he says flatly. "Trump's name is there, and not just once." There's a beat of silence. Not the awkward kind, the kind that sucks the air out of a billion-dollar studio. Rogan leans in. "You're saying I'm saying the logs are real, the visits were real, and the denials? Pathetic. The clip drops mid-episode. Rogan's team uploads it raw. No teaser, no trailer, just Elon. Rogan, Epstein, Trump. It trends in 10 minutes. In 20, it's international. By nightfall, 37 million people have watched the first 5 minutes. And Elon? He keeps going. I'm not saying I'm perfect. I've been to sketchy events. Everyone in power has. But I've never been to that island. And I didn't keep company with predators. Some of these guys did. And they're still walking around in suits and lying to your face. He shifts in his seat, exhales. I've got billions. I don't need favors. I don't need access. You know what I do have? Data. And I'm funding 3 independent investigations. Private, public, international. Rogan raises an eyebrow. Why now? Elon taps the mic once. Because I'm done pretending. The episode ends with a quiet plug for SpaceX's Mars update. No one notices. Because this isn't about rockets anymore. It's about the gravity back on Earth. And Elon? He's not running from the storm. He's buying satellites to watch it from above. The clip is only 36 seconds long. A Capitol Hill reporter shouts from across the sidewalk. Congresswoman Crockett, do you believe what Elon Musk is saying about Trump and Epstein? She stops, turns, and the smile fades from her face. I believe the American people deserve to know who was on that island. Period. She keeps walking. But by the time she reaches the building, the video is everywhere. And Jasmine Crockett, who'd spent months under fire for calling out political spectacle, is suddenly the moral center of the most radioactive story in Washington. That afternoon, she posts a single paragraph to her official House page. I am formally calling for a bipartisan congressional hearing into the political affiliations and access granted to Jeffrey Epstein, regardless of party, status, or legacy. Sealed files must be unsealed. Truth must be named. No hashtags, no all caps, just the words. CNN plays it, Fox cuts away, but social media listens. Within hours, Jasmine is trending not just as a voice, but a presence. Clips of her grilling witnesses in prior hearings resurface. Her quiet control, her clarity, her refusal to let smirks or status dull the edge of her questions. She's not grandstanding, one TikTok user says. She's drawing blood without shouting. Trump allies try to discredit her. One calls her a drama congresswoman chasing camera time. She doesn't respond. She doesn't have to. That night on MSNBC, a legal analyst says, this isn't about Elon anymore. It's not about Trump. It's about whether the truth still matters in a system built to bury it. The camera pans to footage of Jasmine walking down the Capitol steps again. No entourage. Just her bag, her phone, and the weight of a moment she didn't ask for but won't run from. Because while billionaires spar on podcasts and pundits play dodgeball with the truth, Jasmine Crockett is opening the door and daring the rest of them to walk through it. By dawn, the list was everywhere. Not the list. A list. Dozens of them. All slightly different. All claiming to be the real one. Names misspelled, dates altered, logos photoshopped. Some versions listed Oprah, Obama, and Elon Musk himself. Others blamed only Democrats, only Republicans, only the Vatican. And that was the point. Confuse, flood, distract. The misinformation war had begun. The files were slick. Professional. AI-generated fonts, age textures, pixel-level forensics, meant to pass at a glance. Most people didn't look twice. They didn't need to. The damage wasn't in the documents, it was in the chaos they created. What started as a hunt for truth was now a flood of digital noise. Reporters scrambled to verify. Analysts debated metadata. Redditors launched frame-by-frame breakdowns. Meanwhile, Elon Musk posted a single sentence. When they flood the zone, it means the target was real. That tweet disappeared 10 minutes later. Because something else was happening. X went down in Indonesia for 8 hours. A network issue, according to engineers. Tesla's internal comms were breached in Shanghai, sending out fake company-wide alerts about bankruptcy. Neuralink's backend suffered a 37-minute blackout. Coincidence? No one believed that. One SpaceX employee leaked a Slack message from an executive. We're under coordinated attack. This isn't trolls. This is nation-state. By afternoon, dozens of bot accounts began spreading new AI images, fake court documents, forged affidavits, Even deepfakes of Musk admitting the list was made up. None of it was real. But it didn't have to be. The goal wasn't to win. It was to bury the signal under the noise. To make the truth feel exhausting. The kind of exhaustion that makes people look away. And just as it all seemed to spiral, the real blow dropped. 3:13 p.m. Eastern. A federal judge in the Southern District of New York issued a ruling that made every newsroom in America freeze mid-sentence. The files were coming out. Not everything, but enough. Portions of the Epstein client registry, flight manifests, and visitation logs covering 1,998 through 2007 will be unsealed within 48 hours. The judge's language was precise. The pressure came from multiple lawsuits, journalists, survivors, attorneys general. It was bipartisan, it was relentless. And now, it had broken through. When the documents dropped, they came with redactions. But not enough to stop the search. Twitter turned into a courtroom, Reddit became a war room. And there, buried on page 237, was a log noting a private meeting between Jeffrey Epstein and a Mar-a-Lago events coordinator. Dated March 2002. The name Donald J. Trump wasn't written. But the implications were guest lists, call logs, 2 chartered flights to Palm Beach, no destination listed. Transportation arranged via DOP, short for Director of Protocol, an internal term used by the resort. The media tried to parse it delicately. The internet didn't. Marilink trended. So did DOP 237. Trump's allies pivoted fast. Coincidence, they said. Trump knew Epstein, sure. So did half of Manhattan. But this wasn't cocktail party proximity. This was coordination. The documents didn't accuse, but they didn't protect either. For some, it was proof. For others, it was bait. But for Jasmine Crockett, it was a trigger. That same evening, she issued a second statement. The door is open. Now we walk through it. Every name, every meeting, every implication. Let the hearings begin. And once again, the ground under Washington began to shift. The papers dropped with a thud. Filed in federal court under the case name Trump v. Musk. The suit demanded $500 million in damages for defamation, economic interference, and malicious digital sabotage of political legacy. 500 pages, 10 exhibits, and one crystal-clear intent. Make Elon Musk bleed in public, in court, and in every headline for the next 6 months. Trump's legal team didn't hold back. They called Musk a deranged egotist masquerading as a tech savior. They claimed his accusations were not only false, but fabricated with the intent to destroy. The lawsuit included screen captures of Musk's deleted tweets, his Rogan interview, and a PDF attachment from X titled, Page 94. Every word was cataloged. Every meme was footnoted. They even cited Musk's "not conspiracy" history post as a weaponized slogan. Elon's response? 2 sentences on X. This lawsuit is a distraction from the truth. I won't be silenced by men who think secrecy equals innocence. That was it. No thread, no legalese, just the same unnerving calm that had followed him since the first post. The press feasted. CNN hosted constitutional scholars. Fox ran a 3-hour special called The Musk Distraction. Threads and YouTube breakdowns exploded with takes. Was Trump serious? Was Elon ready to countersue? Was this about the island or the election? And behind it all, something darker stirred. Because defamation suits are discovery suits. And discovery means depositions. Emails, calendars, devices, testimony. People close to both men whispered the same thing. This isn't about who wins. It's about what comes out. And for the first time in the entire feud, Trump looked like the one on defense. The hearing room was quieter than usual. Not empty, just still. Because what came next wasn't politics. It was testimony. 2 former Epstein employees, 1 flight attendant, 1 groundskeeper were called in under subpoena. Both under oath. Both with non-disclosure agreements waived under court order. They didn't stutter. They didn't guess. They spoke with the calm clarity of people who had waited 20 years to be believed. Yes, said the flight attendant, voice steady. Donald Trump flew on Epstein's private jet 3 times that I directly witnessed. The room didn't exhale. And he visited the Palm Beach residence at least twice. Once for a fundraiser. Once not. The word hung there. The groundskeeper followed. He described dates, men in suits. I remember him, he said. Because I was told not to speak when he was on property. That didn't happen often, just with the most important guests. Reporters scribbled. Lawyers whispered. Jasmine Crockett sat still. The words weren't new to her. Just finally public. Then came the hammer. The committee chair asked if there was video evidence. The flight attendant nodded once. Yes. To my knowledge, some of it still exists. Surveillance was extensive. Every guest was recorded. We were told it was for security. But I know copies were kept. Have you seen these recordings? Only once. One tape. 2002. I was asked to identify guests. He was one of them. The room went silent. No one asked for the name. No one had to. The chair closed the session early. There was no need for drama. The drama had already arrived. Outside, news vans camped in rows. Inside, the committee reviewed sealed footage not yet admissible, but real. Musk tweeted nothing that day. He didn't have to. The story was no longer about accusation. It was evidence now. And the truth, once buried, was beginning to breathe. The hearing room was standing room only. Cameras lined the walls, their red lights blinking like warning signals. Staffers whispered behind folders. Reporters leaned forward in chairs meant for lawmakers. And at the center of it all, Jasmine Crockett. She didn't open with fire. She opened with focus. This hearing is not about revenge. It's about reckoning, she said. We are here to ask why some names are redacted, some truths delayed, and some people protected even when the facts stare us in the face. The hearing was titled, Power, Secrecy, and Accountability, Epstein and the Elite. And by noon, it was trending worldwide. Crockett called her first witness, a former federal investigator who worked on Epstein's original plea deal. He testified, voice tight, that names were omitted under pressure. From where? High places. The room stirred. The chairman cleared his throat, but Jasmine didn't flinch. Pressure from Mar-a-Lago? She asked. I can't confirm that publicly, he replied. That answer landed harder than a yes. By the afternoon session, the chair introduced the remote witness, Elon Musk. He appeared on screen in a navy blazer, open collar, no tie. The feed flickered once, then sharpened. His expression? Flat, measured, dangerous. He wasn't there to perform. Mr. Musk, Crockett said, you've made public claims that you saw information implicating Mr. Trump. Do you stand by those statements today, under oath? Yes, Elon said, and I have more to share. He leaned in slightly. In 2011, I was invited to a fundraiser hosted by an energy consortium in Manhattan. Ghislaine Maxwell approached me, said she knew I liked data, and had something I'd want to see. It felt off. I declined. But I never forgot the way she said, our friends in Palm Beach. Crockett didn't blink. Did she mention Donald Trump? Not by name, but I didn't need it. The screen froze for a second, then resumed. Musk's testimony ended with a call for transparency. I don't care if it's me, or him, or anyone. If we're on the list, let the list speak. And just like that, the hearing wasn't about Trump anymore. It was about all of them. And Jasmine Crockett was holding the mic. The spin cycle went into overdrive. Trump's legal team released 3 statements in 12 hours. The first denied everything. The second blamed Musk. The third accused Crockett of weaponizing Congress for political gain. But it was too late. The donors had already seen the footage. In quiet back channels, the money dried up. One hedge fund backed out of a scheduled super PAC dinner. A longtime bundler texted a Politico reporter, "We're not betting on a sinking ship just because it screams the loudest." Musk, meanwhile, said little. He posted a single line on X. Let light do what it does. No follow-ups. No fanfare. He declined interviews, skipped appearances. But behind the scenes, his influence expanded. 3 libertarian lawmakers formed the Freedom Transparency Caucus, unofficially nicknamed Elon's Wing. A rising Gen Z congressman quoted Musk in a floor speech. A new PAC called Expose All Elites raised $5 million in 2 days. And Jasmine Crockett? She kept working. Refused praise. Refused podiums. When asked by a CNN anchor how it felt to become the face of accountability, she replied, "I'm not the face. I'm just not scared of theirs." Trump's circle doubled down. "It's a setup," they shouted. "A tech coup," one op-ed warned. "This is what happens when billionaires get bored," said another. But voters weren't buying it. Not anymore. Polls began to wobble. Support dipped among independents. In key swing states, the numbers shifted not to Democrats, but to undecideds. People weren't jumping sides. They were stepping back. And in that space, one thing became clear. Trump still had power. But Elon Musk now had momentum. And that was even harder to fight. It didn't end with a headline. It ended with a question. What else haven't they told us? Across the country, town halls filled. Not with rage, not with riots, with something heavier expectation. People stopped shouting. They started reading. The leaked files were poured over like sacred texts. Names highlighted. Dates matched. Questions asked out loud in places where whispers used to live. And everywhere one demand. Release. Everything. The call came from across the spectrum. Retired generals, school teachers, activists, tech bros, evangelicals, even a few former Trump voters, faces weathered by quiet disillusionment. The White House issued a statement saying they respected the independence of the judiciary. But the people weren't asking the courts. They were asking Congress. And Jasmine Crockett answered. At a press conference with no flashy banners, no music cues, and no celebrity endorsements, she stepped up to the podium. I'm introducing the Justice Disclosure Act, she said. This bill requires full transparency for sealed criminal records in cases involving human trafficking, exploitation, and public figures with federal security clearance past or present. A pause. Then, deliberately, Epstein isn't the only name in these files, but he's the rot that made the roots visible. Reporters fired off questions. Was the bill bipartisan? Yes. Would it pass? Maybe. Did she care? No. This isn't about winning votes, she said. It's about dragging power into the light. The clip went viral. Again, cable news tried to keep up. Editorial boards struggled to sound neutral. Lobbyists fumbled their talking points. Because this wasn't left versus right anymore. It was them versus everyone else. The final moment came, not on a stage, but in a room with no windows. A government office. Unnamed. Unseen. A civil servant. Unknown. Gloved hands slid a black USB drive across a cheap wooden table. Its label, handwritten in red ink, DOJ Archive. Epstein complete. No speech. No fanfare. No security escort. Just the quiet mechanical sound of a door closing behind it. And as the screen fades to black, the only sound left is a single breath being held by a nation that knows the truth is no longer buried. Just waiting. Waiting to be opened. Because the storm wasn't over. It had only begun. This story was intense. But this story on the right-hand side is even more insane.